What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Tarun's Thoughts. My name's Tarun Shetty. These are my thoughts. Hope you guys are doing well. Back in La La Land. I mean, what is this, people? What is this? I don't even know. I just go with the flow. Have you guys read the book, The Alchemist? It's about listening to synchronicities in the universe. It's a pretty good book. It's by Paulo Coelho. Am I saying that right? I'm back here in LA. I did a show last night. If people want to know, I did a show. It was a bringer show. A bringer show is where new comedians have to bring people, like their friends, to the comedy show. So I knew the booker, so he had me go up first, do 6 minutes, and it was like me and a bunch of people doing comedy. I don't know, doing comedy not very long. A lot of young people. People my age too. I mean, people get into comedy at all different ages. And it was interesting because I used to do those shows when I started my stand-up career, and it was so stressful. Like, I mean, literally, you're living off the blood of comics. You got to bring people, and your friends get sick of seeing you. Everybody sucks on the show. Let's be real. And man, you're like just stressed out about people showing up. Like, if your three friends don't show up, then you can't perform, and you got the booker of the show emailing you, hey, we need confirmations. It's okay to do, I guess, but it's not the right way to do comedy because you have to keep getting up on stage. So I did those shows. I did it at Caroline's in New York, I remember, and I had to bring 20 people. It was like the biggest club in New York. It was in Times Square, and people are going to cheer because your friends are there, but you're really not learning anything. You learn by bombing. Anyway, I'm not trying to trash the show I did last night. It was fine, and I'm grateful for the stage time. But I was talking to a few young comics who were just starting their careers, nascent comedians, and I was like, man, I would not want to start this all over again if you put a gun to my head. I just wouldn't. And I went up and did okay. I didn't do great. Then I was like, it's really hard to do well in those environments because it's not really a comedy club because people are there to see their friends. And I went up first, so they're not even like really warmed up yet. So I was like, whatever. But in LA, I'm just trying to, I guess, keep grease on the wheel so I don't rust and just get up. And I don't really have any other shows until the 17th. I'm going to feature for my friend in Nevada. Man, this comedy is just, it's so hard, I'll tell you. Sometimes I'm like, God, it is so hard to get up, and because really nobody, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he was talking about getting up to Hollywood Improv, and he was like, they won't even look at you or consider you unless you have like 250,000 followers on Instagram or something. I'm like, Jesus, I've got like 1,000 or something. I'm like, so basically, it doesn't even matter how good you are stand-up wise. It's about your following. I was just like, dude, it's too much. When you start thinking about all the barricades and all the walls, you're like, this is just too much. But at the same time, it's like these little inches, right? Like, I'm going to go open for my friend in Nevada at a major comedy club. I'm like, well, I can do that. And I can do that well, right? Like, you can't get caught up in this Hollywood shit, Remember I heard the story about Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac's this guy, comedian who died. He had the Bernie Mac show. And he came to LA and they put him up at like 2 o'clock in the morning at the Comedy Store, and he just told his wife, let's go back to Chicago. He went back, started his own room, built it up, became Bernie Mac, one of the best comedians on the scene. So there's really no right way. You can't compare yourself to other people. And the thing about this business is most people are journeyman comedians. That's just what it is. I mean, there's a small percentage of comics who get hot right off the bat, but many comedians, including myself, have been doing it for decades. And usually we're the better comics because we've been doing it for so long. That's just the facts. I mean, it comes with experience. At the same time, I mean, there's a whole Hollywood X factor of being young and hot. Like, there's a whole buzz thing. That's why, like, AI can never really replace Hollywood talent, because you're discounting I guess the ephemeral, who's hot, who's on the cover of Us Weekly, you know, that whole smoke screen stuff that comes along with being talent. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but I'm back in LA, and these are the thoughts I have when I've got to wake up and just quell the thoughts. I'm like, all right, don't even think about this. Just keep moving. There's a big strike. When the strike's over, right now I just have to hemorrhage the bleeding. And the bleeding says, go outside, get some air. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk soon. Take care.